Good morning. It's Monday, November 18th, and tomorrow, Tuesday, the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is scheduled to meet with President Biden at the White House. And then he has additional plans to visit Capitol Hill and to address the U.S. Senate. Now, Zelensky is invited to address the Senate by the leaders of both parties, namely the Democrats Chuck Schumer and the Republicans Mitch McConnell. And Zelensky, of course, has come to the United States to get as much aid as he possibly can. And I think it was Hungary who has become a pain in the Ukraine's ass, so to speak, by vetoing a 50 billion euro aid package that the European Union was prepared to give to Ukraine. And meanwhile, Joe Biden is supposed to give him $61 billion, which is roughly 48 billion pounds, and that's being held up in Congress by the Republican leadership. The hard right section of the Republican Party, which has turned backwards in history, back to the times of isolationism. Isolationism had a wonderful effect on this country at one point in time. It allowed us to get ourselves straightened out and move ahead. Isolationism cleared the way for America's ascent, making the country prosperous, powerful, and secure. But the true goal, even at that time, was to become a leader of the world's nation. And isolationism wasn't going to achieve that. So we have gotten away from isolationism. But now it has reared its ugly head again in this particular situation, where we have the hard right in Congress preaching a form of isolationism by declaring that they don't want to give any more aid to Ukraine. Now, Ukraine needs this help, and the world needs Ukraine to get this help. We cannot have Putin in a position of strength. That can be a difficult, long-term situation for the world. And so the U.S. has no option, no isolationist option to keep the funding of Ukraine down. While the Ukraine has done a great job in the fighting against Russia, they are still outmanned, and they are still on the edge of disaster. They are on the edge of being overrun constantly. And it's a thin line, so they need as much help as they can. And the Ukraine has been warned that the odds are stacked against you, as Putin has prepared a sinister final plan. Let's not kid ourselves. Victory for Ukraine is looking far, far from assured after 2 years into its bloody war with Russia. These warnings have been stated by many who have been involved in the situation, closely involved. And I can look back on the very beginning. We didn't take the proper steps here in the United States by curtailing the ability of Ukraine to fight back, by holding out rockets that could reach the inner workings of Moscow and Russia. So that gave Putin plenty of time. Even though his army has been decimated, he still is in position to win this war. He's in a better position to win this war right now than the Ukraine is. So this bleak assessment comes at a very difficult time for the Ukrainian President Zelensky. Now, Kiev is being supplied with aid and arms from its European allies, but the flow has slowed to a trickle, just as it becomes, and this is because it is becoming ever clearer that it would take a huge amount of help to turn the war against Russia around. Now, I can't blame Ukraine for that. I can blame its allies as much much as I can blame Ukraine, because many of the allies were slow in delivering. For many reasons, they did not want a manslaughter attack on Russia. They held back missiles that could have reached the inner workings of Russia in the very beginning, when it might have been very important to show a massive strike of strength at that point. And of course, not getting money and aid from Hungary and the U.S. struggling to get its aid package put together. And what many people don't realize is those aid packages don't go directly to Ukraine. That money is put aside for U.S. manufacturing. So the war in Ukraine has an economic benefit to the United States because it's keeping many of our manufacturing plants working overtime, making decent salaries even better for the workers who work in these defense plants here in the United States. And many don't understand that. There are many that do not appreciate the fact that the money is given, but it's not given directly to Ukraine. It's given to the defense manufacturers in the U.S. and possibly in maybe some other countries. So we must continue this thing, and we must help Ukraine figure out a way to overcome the hole that it's in right now. And all this squabbling around directly helping Vladimir Putin, because if he watches us act unsurely in this war, then that's to his benefit. And he can impress the people that he has to impress in his country that we must continue, because Russia can win this war. Now, we don't want to hear that in this part of the world, but that is the situation. And the isolationists in Congress and the Senate have come out of the woodwork and don't want to support this anymore because they have a short-term view of what has to go on. They're not prepared to dig into the trenches, so to speak, and hang in there for as long as it takes to end this thing properly. And ending this thing properly means the defeat of Putin, the defeat of Russia, and a victory for Ukraine. And that victory will not be a great victory because then they will have to deal with the mess that is left behind. So that will be something else for us to worry about if we don't step forward and get this thing over with and give Ukraine everything they need to win this bloody war. Not these little piddly here and piddly there. And so I say, we cannot stop now. We have to enforce ourselves greater. We have to be greater than we are right now and avoid the isolationism that is running through the right wing of the Republican Party. So I leave you with that this morning. A mess that is far from over. I hope I have a great day.